Second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion is approved. New business item number 1 is approval of a right-of-way use permit for Veterans New Day LLC for installation of 3 trench drains at 1212 Veterans Memorial Parkway. Mike, welcome.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
I'm going to change the agenda just a hair. As y'all all know, we've searched long and diligently for a deputy city engineer, and I'm proud today to introduce y'all to William Butler, Mr. Bill Butler, who started Monday as our deputy city engineer. I'd like for him to just take a minute or two and introduce himself.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen.
Good afternoon.
I appreciate the opportunity. So as Mike said, just starting up, very excited about the opportunity to come on board. Just a brief description of my background. I'm a 25-year Navy veteran. If you're familiar with the Army Corps of Engineers, which I think most of you probably are, I worked for an organization called Naval Facilities Engineering Service Systems Command. So very similar to what the Army Corps did. I did that for the Navy, for Navy installations throughout the country. So relevant experience that I think will translate really well, and I'm really looking forward to the opportunity. So thank you.
Thank you
Welcome
for being
aboard.
here. Welcome.
Thank you, Bill. Welcome. Mike, do we need to, you know what we're doing, right?
Yes, sir.
Ready? All right.
So this request is for a right-of-way use permit. This is for a new development on Veterans Memorial Parkway. And what it is going to be is 3 trench drains that will extend and take the stormwater underneath our public sidewalk. It's at 1212 Veterans Memorial Parkway. This is basically directly across from the Alabama One Credit Union in the vicinity of Home Depot. The Goodwill Center, I believe, is just to the west of this. So the ask is for these to be privately owned and maintained, which we want. The developer or the owner will be responsible for these. Briefly, the description of this, to help you put it in perspective, is, and you can see the 3 red circles there. Those are the drains that will go under the sidewalk and open into the curb and gutter. Little detail here, I think maybe a brief explanation is the trench drain will be a trough, a concrete trough. It'll be 4.5 to 5 inches deep, probably 6 to 8 inches wide, and it'll have a metal grate over the top of it. That'll be the walking surface for all the pedestrians. You see some things similar to this around the YMCA downtown, where water is allowed to go underneath the sidewalk to the curb. The New Day Car Wash development actually began in our office in May of this year with an LDP application. They have worked diligently over the last few months. They had to have an ALDOT permit for their access to veterans and also to accommodate this as well. So we waited until they received their ALDOT permit before bringing this right-of-way use permit request to you. They're wanting to close by the end of the year, so I've asked that this be doubled up and on council tonight. I'll be glad to answer any questions you gentlemen have.
Questions for Mike? Self-explanatory.
So it's only a right-of-way use permit.
That's correct. Which just establishes that they are the ones to own and maintain these. If for whatever reason one of them is damaged, needs some kind of maintenance, it is the developer's responsibility to do. And it's not the city's. We'll maintain the sidewalk, but these troughs underneath the sidewalk is theirs to maintain.
And the calculation on how wide and deep they need to be to accommodate that area, that's theirs, ours, or both?
No, that is theirs, that went through 2 departments, both Alabama Department of Transportation approved the drainage plan, the calculations, and my department as well.
Motion.
Second.
Motion is second. All in favor say aye. Aye. Item number 1 is approved. Thank you, Mike. Item number 2 is approval of a minor public works contract with L&D Moore contracting for crosswalk striping and ADA ramp improvements along University Boulevard in Alberta. Total not to exceed $99,910. Brett, welcome.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
As mentioned, looking to award a minor public contract with L&D Moore. This is for some crosswalk striping and ADA improvements along the southern stretch of the University Boulevard corridor in Alberta. And it's not to exceed $99,910. This is kind of the vicinity map of where we're in. We're kind of right as you enter into Alberta. You can see these are the 10 intersections that we will be making improvements to. Various ramps that need to be put in compliance, as well as striping along all of those roadways.
So this is the one, didn't we touch on this last week?
I thought so.
That
Yes.
we didn't expect that in that, so it wasn't part of that build. Mike, I lost you. Where'd you go?
Oh, here, left.
Okay.
Yes, sir. Same.
Is that, and I ask this constructively, if these projects like this are, if they're recurring things, is it something we need to build into your budget? I mean, is this once in a blue moon, or it's like, nah, every year we get bit by 2 or 3 of these?
I know that there was an effort made, I don't know, 7, 8 years ago, accommodating some ramp improvements in the downtown area. I'm fairly certain that there are numerous other locations throughout the city that probably are very similar to this, that there's a sidewalk that has a ramp down to the road surface that probably does not meet the ADA regulations. So doing an annual funding amount may not be quite appropriate. Maybe we should do some type of citywide study for you, identify the areas, and come to you with a phased approach.
Okay, I will leave it to y'all, but please know that if you look at it and go, no, this continually pops up and catches us, and it needs to be put in there, we'll certainly entertain that.
Mr. Busby, I too agree. I believe there was work done previously on the western side of the University Boulevard, and these are two connecting, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so in looking at that, I would also like to see that assessment done for the entire city, so that we'll be able to make improvements overall. Yes,
We'll
sir.
do that. We'll put it together.
So moved.
If you think it could be
Second.
serious, ask me to call emergency.
Oh, it's serious. We got a motion?
Yeah, it's like,
Yes, sir.
Is it serious?
It's serious.
I'm serious.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Item number 2 is seriously
Y'all done woke
approved.
Siri up.
Item number 3 is approval to award a bid to Video Industrial Services for the 2024 CMP lining project on Greensboro Avenue, to total $197,778.50. Zach,
Good afternoon, Council.
good afternoon.
Is seeking approval to award this bid to Video Industrial Services for CMP lining on Greensboro Avenue. I got a vicinity map up here. It's close to Rosedale Baptist Church, south of the train station. So if you're coming south from the train station, there's actually a road closure there now where a lane's closed to accommodate this because there's a collapsed sidewalk due to this CMP lining failure. So what we're gonna do is come in and line it and patch the sidewalk and get it back open and get that lane of traffic back open.
How long will this take?
It's a 30-day contract, so hoping to be done, well, it should be done early spring.
Zach, I'm glad we're doing this. I know we put money in the budget, but these type of things prevent major sinkholes and problems from having to turn into $1 million projects, so we need to keep doing this as much as we can and keep trying to put more and more in the budget probably.
Yeah, and
Avoid these type things. We got a lot of these issues around town.
Yeah, and this will be funded out of that CMP lining budget, and we had enough in there to cover this. So.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Questions? Entertain a motion.
So moved.
Second.
Move second, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Item number 3 is approved. Item number 4 is approval of professional services agreement with Evoqua. I think I said that right, didn't I, Mr. Green? All right. I think I said one time the Evoqua, I
Yeah,
think, and I got.
that's if you're getting fancy.
Oh, yeah.
The quad.
Sorry, I was gonna say something else. Anyway, let me just make sure that everyone understands this, because since I don't. Evoqua Water Technologies, full-service odor control, lift stations 2, 5, 33, 41. The total is not to exceed $350,000. If I remember, that's kind of was the contract last year, wasn't it? An amount
Yes.
around that?
Yeah, this is a new contract, but a continuation of the old contract. The price is the same. This is a 1-year contract with options to extend up to 3 years. But this is the chemicals we dose at these lift stations to control odor and reduce corrosion. It's funded out of our outside services for the wastewater plant.
I'm curious, how often they have, is this a daily treating? Is this a
Yeah.
weekly treating? How does it work?
Yeah, there's basically a tank on site at these lift stations, and there's monitoring tools, equipment, and they monitor and dose and give us reports on performance based on what's
When it
needed.
gets to a certain
So
level,
it's
right?
yeah.
Okay.
I'd say it's a trickle daily type dose.
Doesn't have anything to do with this, but it's a similar situation at lift station 42.
This like 15 and 41 are upstream of 42.
Okay.
So that we put them in there to reduce odor and
Reduce
corrosion
that. Okay,
up
that's good
until
to know.
station 42. So in that study that we've actually got the draft report for lift station 42, and it looked at this and if this is the optimal approach, and we're reviewing that now. But in the meantime, we're definitely this is working. So we're going forward with this.
Questions? Same amount, right, as last year,
Yes, sir. Last year we spent $315,000.
315,
Yes, sir. So this is
just up a little bit.
yeah.
Motion.
Second.
Motion second, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Item number 4 is approved. Item number 5 is approval of a minor public works contract with Rick Service Company for lift station number 2 turbocharger replacement, $4,850. Brian?
Yes, sir. Lift station 2 is down on the river by the Riverview, close to the Riverview boat landing. So the turbocharger is a component on the motor that needs replacing. It's in the budget for the repairs and supplies for the wastewater plant.
Questions?
Motion.
Got a motion and a second, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Item number 5 is approved. Item number 6 is authorization for the mayor to execute an agreement for engineering services between Cassidy Company and the city of Tuscaloosa for the Aldott Woolsey Fennell Bridge Replacement Utility Relocations Project. Brian?
Yes, sir. So this is the engineering contract for those utility relocations that the city will have a project for to accommodate the Aldott Bridge Replacement Project. It's 100% reimbursable by Aldott. The fee for this is $1.5 million. The construction estimate at this point, which we're very early, we've got a conceptual layout basically that we've got an estimate and engineering fee based on. And we'll move into survey and design, and that will happen over the next 6 to 9 months, and we'll go from there. But anyway, this is the engineering contract to get us going on that.
Is, this question may end up being directed to Mayor Maddox, but where are we on our bucket list of issues that we had with Aldott on Woolsey Fennell?
We've made some real progress. Mike Gardner and I met with Director Cooper about 3 weeks ago. We discussed some alternatives in terms of access onto Julia Tutwiler. Mike has also been working with them on the access of the northern river walk to the pedestrian side of the new Woolsey Canal Bridge. So we feel like we're in a good place. I had a meeting with a state official yesterday and we discussed it. They seem to feel like, you know, our concerns now are being heard and being worked through. So I feel very good. I mean, there's nothing final, but I feel very positive.
When would you expect to know what that final, I mean, I hate to say final, but when we probably know that for sure? Because timeline wise, it's gotta be soon, doesn't it, Walt?
Yeah, because they're telling us that those dollars have to be encumbered by the end of next year. I would think by first quarter of 25, we should feel like in a good place. Where's Mike? Is he in
It's
here?
right here.
Mike, do you think first quarter of 25 is a accurate assessment?
If they're gonna stay on the schedule they've given us, they'll have to. Because they're talking about being ready to bid, put this thing out to lead is,
Summer?
in the summer of 25.
The solution on the Julia Tutwiler access issue would be we would have to have multiple partners. So the goal would be for the city and AlDOT to say, okay, we think this is a good solution. And then go and talk to the impacted parties who would have property adjacent to that access to say, can you make this work? And so we're beginning to reach out and schedule those meetings. If they feel like that's something we can work, then I do feel fairly confident the access issue on Julia Tutwiler will be solved. The access on the bridge from the pedestrian side is a little it's more complicated, in my opinion, just because of the sheer size and scope of this bridge, where it needs to fall. But we do think there's some things that can be done jointly that can give it that more pedestrian feel, so it doesn't feel like Hugh Thomas 2.0.
Is the tree and right-of-way clearing, the curve getting on Jack Warner right there by the cemetery, it's right there, is that related to this in any way, or is that
The
all?
state did that.
Is the state doing that? Is that related to this project?
I'm not sure. I just know we were talking to them about the
I
utilities.
believe
We
it
asked
is.
that in a meeting that we had last week, and they did tell us, yes, that was.
The clearing,
Mhm.
well, they're not actually, they're cutting.
They're
I mean, the
cutting in
stumps are still there,
preparation for the
whatever,
university
because I
to
noticed
do
that
some
coming to council today, but it looks like they're preparing.
He said that they were cutting trees in preparation for the university to start doing some of their work that they need to do with the cemetery.
And I hate to say this is a sign, but that seems to be a reasonable sign that progress is happening, or I don't think they would be doing that.
Yes.
Is that probably fair?
I think it is. I think there's a commitment. I know from Director Cooper, they want to see this project done. And I was very pleased that the director and his team took the time to come see us, and we were able to work through. Can't say enough about the respect they have for Mr. Gardner and the work he does. And Mike has really done and I'm going to take all the credit for his great work, but he's done a really good job of putting solutions out there to be considered.
He does a good job on that.
I'm very fortunate to have Mike.
So remind me, the grant or the earmark from Senator Shelby, was it $100 million?
I want to say it's 100 million.
So it's too early to know, but we hope that'll cover the whole project, don't we?
I mean,
We hope.
if it does, the market, I hope it does, because that means the construction market has gotten very favorable, and we will benefit by that too with our own series of projects. I think that, I think that'd be very difficult. I don't know how Brian and Mike feel, because what do we anticipate the water?
The utilities just for Tuscaloosa are $20 million.
How much?
20 million.
Wow.
Dumb question. Do those go under?
Good question.
I
You
don't,
talking about the stuff?
when
that's
we're
on-
replacing water and sewer utilities,
Mhm.
are we digging something up and laying pipe to push it through under the riverbed?
In this case, we are.
Okay.
Yes.
They've indicated they don't want utilities attached to the bridge. If they did determine a course direction, that would save a considerable amount of money.
talk about kicking in more money if it's over 100 million?
The state,
Yeah.
I haven't been part of, that's between the governor and the highway director.
We're not shy to ask though.
No, but I can't imagine based off just listening to the director and his team. I know they want this done. I think they want to figure out how to make it happen.
Okay. Thank you for letting me go down that rabbit trail. Trail. I can't even, I'm Elmer Fudd. All right, so what other questions?
This
Councilman
is
Boswell?
only the engineering services prerequisite.
That's right. So next time we come back, it'll be for bid award to the contractor. This is the likely course of action. I didn't mention this, is we're asking to double this up, so they can go ahead and get under contract and start and be ahead of the roadway project as much as possible.
Yeah, is that on the council agenda tonight? Remind me. It is?
Well, it's doubled up.
Okay, or he said you were asking to double it up.
Okay.
AlDOT normally does utility relocations before they start a project. That's why they want to move.
We're being
They don't
100%
combine it as part of the
Yeah.
project. They do
being
it as a
reimbursed,
separate
so
Yeah.
construction bid.
before you do it. I think that's all good. Questions?
Motion.
Second.
Got a motion, second, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Item number 6 is approved. Item number 7, approval of a balancing change order number 1 with Somerville Construction for construction of the Lake Nickel restroom at a deductive total of $28,876.51. Tim?
Thank you. Good afternoon.
Thank you.
Saved us some money, right?
Yes, sir. So we've wrapped up the Lake Nickel new restroom facility. We've got a couple of images here of the site, new restroom building in place of the old building that was previously there.
It looks like.
100%.
It's a big difference, absolutely. And so yes, this is a deductive change.
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. We love deductive totals. All in favor say aye. Aye. Item number 7 is approved. Item number 8, approval of a minor public works contract with Building Specialties. Total is $29,614.70. Building Champ,
So this
There
is,
goes the deductive.
we like that.
this is funded from the security
You're all spending it,
enhancements as
John,
part
right
of
here.
facility renewal this year. And this is to rekey the City Hall main building. It will also address the various ADA compliance issues, failing hardware within the building, improve security with fewer physical keys as we continue to improve our electronic access in the building. So it's not just keys, there's a lot of hardware associated with this as well.
Okay, I was wondering. So we're gonna do a lot of digital.
Well, so this is doorknobs, this is keys, closers, various locking mechanisms. It's not just keys and cylinders. It's addressing, like I said, failing hardware, as well as we have, with a building that age, we've got a lot of ADA changes that have happened.
Right.
And so changing over from knobs to levers. Knobs don't meet ADA.
Right.
So various changes like that
Appreciate
included
you.
in this price.
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Item number 8 is approved. Item number 9 is approval to enter into a construction contract with Anderson and Associates for construction. The 25th Street Multi-Use Courts project, the total is $502,894.92. Tim?
Yes, sir. So this is also known as the POW Court. It sits behind MLK.
They've
There's
been
a
working on this for a while. Merry Christmas.
wider view of the site. You see it indicated by the star, and then so sitting right there behind MLK Elementary. This was a previous court that the city, through an agreement with the city schools, we have a lease for the property. The city has already performed demolition of the previous court.
Sure did.
And so this also has a finance agenda today as well. We're anticipating completion early in the summer. It will be 2 new concrete basketball courts with court striping. We're going to make some repairs to that north fence. We're going to install a new fence on the south side running along 25th Street. We're going to extend that sidewalk that you see is missing right there
Right.
over to DuPont. You can see that down at the bottom left. That sidewalk extension's about 75, 80 feet, Jimmy. About 75 or 80 feet, extending that sidewalk. Of course, lights, cameras, all the things that we would typically do at all of our parks. And that's a lighting and camera layout. Those red marks are lights and cameras. Well, the red marks are the lights, and the cameras are located at these center poles.
Tim, I would like to thank you and your staff and Deputy Chief Sebo. We went out there. We've had time to look at this, and this is going to be a great addition to the community.
Hey,
So moved.
Tim,
Yes, sir.
I got a quick question. We're $275,000 over, and Carly may have to answer this, but Carly, there's two pieces of funding for this.
Yes, sir.
Mm-hmm.
The $306,008 what's that coming out of?
It'll come out of the dual amounts for the RFFI and then for CDBG. It'll have to overlap.
Yeah, and then the 196 is,
The 196, the CDBG.
okay. Was any of this, was I remember correct, is built with COVID funds?
No.
No?
The CDBG amount is
It
COVID
is
funds.
COVID, so those
yeah.
are, the CDB is COVID.
It's CDBG for COVID.
For COVID.
It's not our ARPA
It's
funding
not
or
our-
our separate COVID funding that we got just for being a city that went through COVID. It is for being a CDBG recipient
Of,
that also
COVID.
went through COVID.
yeah. Okay. But it was part of the funds
Correct.
that came from the
It was
feds
from,
for COVID.
It was from CV1. We got CV1 and CV3, so it comes out of CDBG CV1.
Okay. I got a motion
Second.
and a second. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Item number 9 is approved. Item number 10 is approval to enter into a professional services contract with Duncan Coker Associates for construction administration services for the 25th Street multi-use courts project. The total is $59,460. Tim?
So this is for site survey, construction observation, closeout documents, and testing during construction. The amount reflected here of $59,000 is covered within that requested transfer of $275. So it's not an add to that $275. It's covered by that $275. And this is a not to exceed amount. So obviously we hope to go under that, don't we, Jimmy?
Yes, sir. Questions?
Motion.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Item number 10 is approved. Item number 11 is authorization to amend the overall project budget to a memorandum of understanding with city departments for the 25th Street Multi-Use Courts project, and authorization for the mayor to execute said amendment. The total is the $275,000 we've been talking about for the overage, right?
Yes, sir. So
Yeah.
this is a process that I am thankful for LaPerry's group for helping me understand as we work through this. The use of federal dollars in this project requires a memorandum of understanding among cooperating departments, and it's part of that reporting process. So this document must be updated to include that change in funding amount, and so that's what we're doing here. This is an already executed MOU, and we're asking for that amendment that accompanies the 275 change.
So we've just been dealing with approval of the reapproval of the project and the engineering amount check with the increased cost. And then we'll leave here and we'll go into finance and we'll determine where that 275's coming from, right? Well,
Yes, sir.
Excuse me, that's not a question. That's what we'll do. Does that necessitate any, I mean, if we do something different than RFFI contingency in finance, does that necessitate clerk or OCA? Does this need to be pin changed? Is the source a significant
Are the-
portion of amending the document?
I'll check.
Okay. Well, I would just note that, and I will make a motion to approve this if it requires approval.
Second.
it does require approval, right? I mean, this, I'm just looking at,
Yeah, but you're amending the budget,
we're amending the budget.
but you could change the source of that.
That's
Yeah,
all,
finance.
that's all I'm just noting,
You could
as we
change
go
the
into
source.
finance, if we choose a different source, this will need to be,
You're just saying you're amending the
Amending
budget,
it.
right?
Just amending the budget.
What'd you say?
We're just amending the budget.
Right.
The overall budget, the source does.
Right, but there's a question about whether or not
the
that
question is,
275
does the
should
source
come
of
from
the
RFI
amendment
somewhere
need to be
else. And so if
included?
it comes from somewhere else through finance
Take it
committee
out of another
today,
bucket.
that memo's gonna have to change.
It's stated on the MOU that RFI, so I think the question.
You probably have to change that then if you've stated that.
We would probably have
right?
to re-amend this.
That's not a big deal.
That's not a big deal. This is just an internal document.
Yeah. All right, so I have a motion today. and
You have a
Have a
right?
second.
Any other discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Item number 11 is approved. Is there any other business to be brought before this committee? Hearing none, our next Public Projects Committee meeting will be Tuesday, January the 7th. Wishing everybody a happy New Year and Merry Christmas. And with that, I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
So
so
moved.
moved.